And right now, I'm joined with a very special guest, the drummer and vocalist from Box Die herself. Alice, thanks for joining me.
Hey mate, good to be here.
Awesome. Now, my first question, kind of a bit of a funny one to start off with. How did the band come to decide on the name Box Die?
Well, myself and Mel, who's the other singer slash guitarist, we were both pretty punky, alternative kinds of kids, and we just used to do lots of crazy shit with our hair. And pretty much anytime we were having like a stressful period or like needed a bit of a change, then we would just do something wild, like dyeing it black or bleaching the hell out of it or whatever. But it was more that like being able to do that and being able to change the way that you look so easily was a good way to feel like you're taking back a little bit of control in your own life when you feel like you don't have a lot of control over things, even if it is something that small. So yeah, it's just kind of like a self-empowering kind of move, and yeah, that's where the name comes from.
Cool. That's great. Has there been a time where everyone in the band has had their hair dyed?
Yes. So me and Mel have dyed our hair countless times. I think we've been through the rainbow 5 times over. But yeah, we still needed to get Miles, who's our bass player, on board. Needed to get him to do it at least once. And he's got curly brown hair. And so one night we stuck one of those those old like 2000s streak caps where you like put a rubber cap on their head that's got like all the little holes in it and you pull
Yep.
through the hair and then you bleach it.
Yep.
Yeah, so we gave him the frosted tip experience, and then we
Oh,
dyed that
wow.
blue.
Blue.
Yep,
Oh, blue tips. Wow.
yep.
That's
So,
great.
it
And
was definitely a look and a vibe, and he managed to hang on to that for a couple of weeks, and then we never got to do it again.
only for a couple of weeks, and it hasn't happened since.
No.
Do you reckon you'd be able to convince him to do it again at least one more time? Or,
I mean, it'd have to be for something pretty special. I have to put my thinking cap on.
okay, well, keep us updated.
Oh, well.
So, as we said at the start, you're the drummer and the vocalist.
Hmm.
In my opinion, notoriously the hardest kind of vocal combo or instrument combo in the band. How did you kind of fall into that position?
Well, so the vocals are shared between me and Mel. We've got kind of like a Veruca Salt kind of thing going on where there's two leads and we sing the songs that we write. But originally I was never going to be the drummer. I actually wanted to be the bass player when we first started out because I was learning bass, and the best way to learn an instrument is to be in a band because you just have to learn.
Yeah.
And finding a drummer was just really, really hard. So in the end, it was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to do it. And yeah, so I've just been learning how to play drums pretty much along with the band. I had like a few lessons under my sleeve, but that was pretty much it. And yeah, I don't know. You just practice the hell out of the beat that you're doing until it's purely muscle memory, and then you can sing over the top. But I think anyone singing and playing an instrument at the same time is pretty incredible, like whether it's guitar or bass or drums or anything really.
Yeah, and especially the rhythm that you need for drums, I think that's just like, it's way harder.
If you're doing a song where the beat doesn't go along with what you're singing, it's such a like a when you would like pat your head and rub your belly at the same time. It's that kind of vibe.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned just before that you kind of write music, as well, write the songs for the band too, or some of the songs. What's that process like? Do you kind of start with some vocal stuff? Do you start with drums, or do you start on maybe bass or something else?
Um, I think for me, because I've always been a bit of a, I don't know, I just really love writing and love words, and used to do a bit of like really probably quite cringe poetry when I was a teenager and stuff like that. So I usually kind of start with if I hear a phrase or something that hits me, that might spark something, or if I'm going through something that I really want to use as inspiration for a song, then I'll usually start with almost like a poem. Whereas I know that Mel is more of a musical type than I am, and she's been playing guitar for a really long time. So she's someone who's more likely to start off with the instrumentals, whereas I'm more of like a wordy kind of person, and then we kind of switch those around, and she'll like her and Miles will help me out with all of the instrumental parts because they're both really talented musicians. And sometimes if Mel needs a couple of words or something chucked into one of her songs, then I'm happy to help out with that as well. So it's a pretty good exchange we've got.
I see. It's more like it's a whole collaborative, whole band thing.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Like, even though Miles isn't one of the lead singers or anything like that, he is such a huge part of our sound because he's just got all these, like, he's just got a real ear for it. He's, like, been a sound techie kind of guy for a really long time, and he just is super, like, talented at being able to pull songs together and take stuff that me and Mel have been writing and, like, make it a complete song. So it's definitely, like, a real group effort to get something finished.
Yeah. Speaking of finishing songs, you have a theme with your release schedule, which I noticed a little while ago. There's one single every year since 2020. Could we expect to see that keep the trend going in 2024?
I mean, we're really hoping to release more than one single next year because we know that it's a pretty like glacial track record for us. But yeah, I don't know. That just kind of seems to be the way. I don't know why that keeps happening. Maybe it's just like an obligation thing where it's like, oh crap, it's nearly the end of the year. We better put something out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're hoping that because we're in a writing process at the moment where we're trying to get some new tunes written and everything like that and get everything finished off, get everything that's been half written for ages actually finished and ready to go. And yeah, we're hoping early next year we'll be able to record hopefully more than just one song.
So, well, that's very exciting to hear. This Friday, though, if some people want to see you play some of the stuff you have released, or maybe some stuff that you haven't released too, you're opening for another band who have quite a famous drummer and vocalist combo, Spiderbait. How are you feeling about
that? Pretty damn excited. Spiderbait's been a massive influence on me. I think because Graham was like the first drummer singer that I'd ever seen, and that was how I knew that was even a possibility. It was always sort of like, oh, either the singer is either just the singer or they're a singer and guitarist, and it's not really like a possibility for singers to also be drummers, but that's definitely not true. And they've got kind of a similar vibe to us in terms of their songs as well, because you've got Cram who'll sing like probably more than half of their songs, but then you've also got Janet English as well, and she sings a lot of their big hits too, like Calypso and stuff like that. So they've also got the kind of switcheroo thing going on.
Yeah. Will this be the biggest show that you've played? Have you kind of opened for a band like that before?
I think some of our biggest shows have probably been like we opened for Me First and the Gimme Gimmes at the Metro in Sydney, and we opened for Trophy Eyes and Dear Seattle at UC a little while ago, and played with Magic Dirt a couple of times, played with British India a few months ago as well. So we've had some bigger shows, but this is definitely one of the bigger ones for sure.
Are you guys all excited for it, looking forward to it? Have you got it kind of planned out so far?
Oh, yeah. No, we've definitely practiced. Like, we've got our set together. We're trying to make sure that we're going to have enough, stage banter in between, but not too much because we're not really the stars of this show. So got to make sure we keep it limited to, maybe about a dozen dad jokes, and then we'll just quietly get off the stage. But, yeah.
My last question. If you come across Cram, will you share maybe a dad joke, or will you share the fact that you both sing and drum?
I've actually met Cram a couple of times.
I've
interviewed him for BMA a few times now and hung out with him backstage before. He's a really, really cool guy. He's definitely like the epitome of just like dad energy, like just really, really sweet, really lovely person, will talk to anybody. But yeah, he didn't actually realize that my band was going to be opening for them this Friday until I interviewed him last for BMA, which is out now. It's the cover story at the moment. And yeah, he asked me on the phone, he was just like, oh, so you're going to come to the show? And I was like, oh yeah, maybe. And he was just like, oh, come on, why wouldn't you go? And I was just like, no, I promise I'll be there. And he was just like, oh, okay, you're giving me the whole maybe thing. And I was like, I'm actually opening for you, dude. And he was just like, oh, what? And I was like, yeah, I know that I've never mentioned my band name to you before, but yes, I'm opening for you. And he was like, oh shit, okay, cool.
Awesome. Well, I mean, all the more excuse to poke fun at him, I suppose.
Oh yeah, always going to take any excuse to poke fun at Graham.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Alice, and best of luck with the show tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks, mate. See you around.